And the doctor came in and was like, oh yeah, she's fine. She's just in recovery. And then she got a phone call and she was like, what? She's not? And then she's like, oh, she's not. And then she just left the room and she's like, I'll be right back. And then she never went back. So Taylor was like, oh my God, like she's dead. Like I'm a single father of 3. Like it was like,
oh my goodness.
Welcome to Our Family Invests, the podcast where successful couples come together to share their inspiring stories of balancing family, life, and business. We're Mike and Caroline Neubauer, husband and wife entrepreneurs striving to live our best lives with our family at the center. This podcast celebrates the couples who inspire us, invest in each other, and raise those around them to the next level. Join us as we explore their challenges and victories. Let's learn, share, and grow together. So today we are thrilled to welcome Taylor and Dawna Orban, an unstoppable couple from Saskatchewan, that's in Canada. Dawna is a marketing firm partner, real estate investor, and author, while Taylor balances life as a firefighter, Amazon entrepreneur, and all-around handyman. Together, they're raising 3 energetic boys, managing multiple businesses, and proving that family and financial freedom can go hand in hand. From Dawna's near-death experience to building home businesses and tackling home renovations with a newborn, their journey is packed with lessons of resilience. Get ready for an inspiring and down-to-earth conversation with the Orbans.
What an intro.
Yeah, very
That was great.
Thanks.
Full disclosure, today we have our 5-year-old babysitting our 10-month-old. So be prepared to probably meet both of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's real life, right?
Right? I know he's really into earning money. I'm like, you can earn $5 today.
Yeah.
That's big. That's
Yes,
big time.
Huge. Double his piggy bank, probably.
Love it.
All right. Taylor, I want to start with you. In your words, can you tell us who is Dawna? I mean, I have so many notes and stories that Caroline has told me, so I feel like I know a little bit, but I want to ask you to tell me about what you love about her and what inspires you about Dawna.
Yeah, let's hear this.
That's a good question. No, Dawna is feisty. I'll say one of the feistiest people I know. She's risk taker. She's not afraid of taking risks, and she's very supportive of like friends and family. So she's very good. If someone's having a birthday or there's a celebration that needs to happen, Dawna's always the one that's gonna make that person feel special or put it together for them. She's also like, I always say, like, if you ever have a flight delay or anything, just get Dawna to make the phone call because you'll get so much money back, and she's the one you
He
want.
never wants to be there,
Yeah.
but he likes the outcome.
Yeah.
It just gets awkward, like
Yeah,
at the hardware store when it's like, well, no,
Yeah.
we're supposed to get this price. He's like slowly backing away.
I'll go hide in a different room and then be like, did you get it? It's like, yeah, we got 2 free flights. It's like, okay, great.
Wow. That's very relatable. I feel like I have someone like that in my corner as well.
Yeah.
He also likes to disappear.
Right? Yeah.
And a great mom too. She's so good with kids, and she's always doing like research to figure out how to just do things better, whether it be like feeding the best foods or, helping them sleep or what activities. She's really good at caring for the kids.
Nice.
Thanks, honey.
Okay, let's turn the table, Dawna. Now, who is Taylor to you, and what do you love about him?
So Taylor, we're big like Enneagram people. I don't know if you guys are or not, but we ended up like stumbling upon the Enneagram, and Taylor's a perfectionist. So like I love knowing that everything that he does, he like gives it his all. Like he's just doing the best, and I know that it's going to be good quality and it's going to be just great. That's like one of the things I love about him. He's a great dad, really hard worker, and the manliest of men.
All of us firefighters are manly men.
Right?
It's a requirement. Awesome. Well, let's dive into your businesses. Dawna, I know you do a lot, right? Like your partner at a marketing firm. You use Farmland income to travel, and you have a social media account for parenting. You're an author, and I want to hear about all of that. But let's start off with potty training.
Sure. So like Taylor said, I'm a big like research gal, and especially like in the parenting realm, I'm like really passionate about it. I just love it. I think I'm like on this earth to be a mom. I think these boys are like why I'm here. So I really like researching. So when it came to potty training our first son, I took every course. I think I took maybe 6 courses and like read a couple books. Like I was like went in so deep. And then I kind of picked and choose what I thought worked the best from everything that I learned. And Taylor actually was the one that was like, you should be like writing this down, or like you should be sharing this information with someone. So yeah, I ended up like taking everything I learned and putting it into just like a potty training guide that we sell on our Instagram page.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
3-day potty training.
3-day.
3 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
Works.
Wow.
Yeah. We got the second guy in too. So we'll see what happens with the third guy.
Wow. That's a pretty accelerated program.
Yeah.
All hands on deck.
Yeah. Awesome.
But worth it.
Yeah. it is.
Taylor, you built an Amazon business around the portable sleeping tent for kids.
Yeah.
So what gave you the idea for that? How did you create the product? Figure out how to get it to consumer? Tell us about that journey.
So that all kind of started around COVID. It's kind of funny. So we like were meeting with some friends one time, and one of our good friends, he's like, "So what have you been up to lately?" And I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "I've been doing nothing." He's like, "Oh," and I was just like, "Man, my life right now is so boring."
Like that night Taylor came in, he was like, I felt like such a loser. Like I couldn't even say like anything new. Like I had nothing new today. I had nothing to bring to the table. We just
nothing here at all. And then like I ran into another person, like, "What's new?" I'm like, my foot was like sore. I'm like, I have a sore foot. Like, it's
Wow.
gotta get it together. So, but anyway, kind of progressed with we actually couldn't get like the product kind of already existed in the US, but we couldn't get it in Canada. And so then, yeah, with COVID, like there's just weird stuff. Like we couldn't really be out in public doing things. So I kind of decided that it'd be cool to see if I could find a manufacturer that would make this and we could have our own brand and bring it to Canada. So that's how it all started. So yeah, I kind of did a course online. I did a lot of like YouTube research and stuff, and then just figured that out.
I feel like you're downplaying this. It took him like a year to like learn how to do all this stuff. He was like learning the child exemptions for Canada.
Yeah.
It was like, and he was like working with these suppliers from China, sending material back and forth. Like he like tested everything so intensely. Like it was a really big project. But it was nice. Like it was a nice thing to do in COVID because
and it was great. I think I don't know if we had one kid at the time or maybe just a second, but I put him to bed, and then I'd kind of spend my evenings, instead of like just wasting time watching TV, I'd kind of dive into that for a couple hours every night. And
yeah.
That's
so cool. I mean, most people during COVID, at least out here, it seeed like the big thing was everyone's making bread. So
also,
Donna
did that too.
That's true.
there you go. All right.
Yeah, it was like mat leave. Just mat leave.
So you were making bread and you were making sleep tents.
Yeah.
So this is fascinating to me because one of the things that we do, so like I try and take these really short lunches every day. I go upstairs and I make a sandwich and I throw on Shark Tank and I'm fascinated. They're like 15 minutes, right? And it's just long enough for me to eat a sandwich or two and watch Shark Tank. So when you hear about manufacturing, especially like in China, there's a lot that goes into that. And I feel like this is definitely something, like you said, Dawna, he's downplaying this. Like that must have been a ton of work. And then as someone who, I sell books on Amazon and it is a nightmare. And I take care of all that. Amazon is not easy to deal with. So how did you find starting the store, getting the product margins, everything where you needed to be? Like, how long did that take you?
Like, I guess Dawna said, I guess it probably took around a year to kind of from start to actually be sell it, like launching and selling it in the store. But yeah, like you say, things kind of with Amazon, things do change, like with how they operate and stuff. But yeah, I was going back and forth with the manufacturers, and I don't know, it just kind of like everything, you figure out how much it costs, and then from there I'd be like, okay, well, if it costs this much, then how much is shipping, how much is my taxes when it comes in, and then how much is Amazon going to sell or charge just to sell it. And then once all that was kind of inputted, it's like, well, if you have a profit of this much, and so is it worth the risk to go forward with it? So,
and we're both kind of following like Amazon influencers. And just seeing like tips and tricks that they had. Like it's kind of cool, like the back end, you can like put a screen on Amazon and see like what things are selling. So that's kind of how you like choose your products.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like a lot to it, but it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing I guess I should have mentioned. There's like you can find out there's a Chrome like extension that you can buy, and it tells you pretty much the sales of every product
Really? That's
per month.
cool.
Yeah, how much they're going through, what they're selling, what they sell it for, so then how much they're profiting on that product.
And so you're obviously not the only person using that Chrome extension. And I
No,
know that you have
lots of
had issues with getting your product knocked off. Like
Yeah.
how do you combat that? Or is there a way to?
So that's kind of like the social media side now. So in my like marketing company, we have like a big social media division. So I'm fortunate to know a lot about social media and we have a full team in that. So we actually built the social media to try and influence parents and to sell on there as well and just trying to like keep it like different than the other ones because like everything, as soon as you're successful, people find out and then they knock it off. And that's exactly what's happening. Like at the beginning when we launched, we were selling like crazy, 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 crazy. And now it's still good, like consistent sales for sure, but it's definitely not what it was before all the knockoffs came in. But we're definitely leveraging the social media and we're lucky to know a few influencers that post our product because they make commission off the Amazon sale.
Sure.
Perfect.
So yeah, we're just trying to do like out of the box marketing and
Yeah.
like luckily, I guess my background is in that. So it's kind of I'm doing that side of things where he's doing like the hands-on building the product and working with Amazon.
Donna's done a great, like, such a good job with the Instagram account.
Yeah, I
So
think
she's grown it like.
our goal was 20,000 in a year, and I think we're at like 32,000 or something
That's
followers.
incredible.
Yeah. So it's going really well, and so the potty training book is on there as well, and it's called Minimum is the brand, and we're just wanting to expand in other kids products. I think that's the whole
That's
goal
super
is
cool.
just to
So
see where we can go with it.
do you have other products that are kind of in the works or anything that you're thinking about doing next?
Tested a lot. We've tested a lot of things. We haven't nailed down.
So nothing nailed down right now, but you're also working on another.
Yeah, I'm working on another digital project right now, so hopefully that'll be launched in the spring.
Wow, good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
All right. So we bonded over investing. And I know you guys, you mentioned that you use farmland income to travel. So how does that work? Take us through your real estate investing journey.
So I grew up, my dad's a construction guy, and my mom was actually in the RCMP, which is like the
State troopers.
what is it? Yeah, state troopers. I don't know how that, like what that is in the States, but so we actually like grew up flipping houses. So because my mom was in the RCMP, she got transferred, so we would move. But we always had a farm near Regina, Saskatchewan. But the places that she would get located to, we would buy houses. And then my dad would slowly fix them up. And then we would sell them when she got transferred again. So it was like a long drawn out flip. But I always lived in a construction site. So, but yeah, our first house, we just kept it for rental and we've redone all of our our long-term rentals. Taylor's like learned so much. He's like the handyman, and we've done like full rentals on everything and then like long-term rented them out. But with the farmland, I actually had that like inherited when my grandma passed away. So it was like the coolest thing ever learning like how to manage that, I guess. So, and it's a struggle, like as Caroline knows, there's like deals that you have with people like local farmers, and then there's like the actual like value in what you could get. So it's like a tricky dance on like, do you want to sell out and like rent to the guys that have all the money, or do you want to like keep those local relationships strong and like help the locals? So that's what we're doing right now is like it's like a family friend that rents the farm. But yeah, it makes us a ton of passive income, and we're able to like travel the world with our kids, and we go on like at least one big trip every year. We like to be gone for like 3 to 6 weeks at a time, and we'll do a few of those a year and just get our kids out in the world and teach them that way.
And where are you going next?
So we have a Euro trip in the books. In about 3 weeks, we are doing France, Barcelona, and Portugal.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
for 5
so
weeks.
cool. Wow.
So Taylor's also fortunate to be able to take pat leave this year. Canada's really awesome with maternity leave. So I'm away from our marketing firm for 18 months, actually.
18 months?
Months. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tay, tell him what you get for paternity leave.
So we get, like, I get 5 weeks, like, fully topped up, and then I kind of added a vacation onto that, and then with like the shift work, it ends up being almost 2 months that I'll get.
That's awesome.
So we got to go.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Go. We're also like just finishing a major home rental. So Taylor's like not 100% on board.
Yeah.
Like he never is, but
Never have it.
Until he gets there.
once we're there, he's like, this is the best. Thank you so much for planning this. This is awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. So I want to backtrack a little bit if you don't mind, because I think the farmland thing is super cool. And so I want to understand it a little bit more. So you have the land, and then are you renting out like portions of it, like acreage or whatever, to different farmers, or is it all like a master lease to one farmer, or how?
Yeah, it's
how do
a
you do
master
that?
lease. So
It is. Okay.
it's kind of interesting. Like our relationships with this family has gone back like to like my grandparents' time.
So cool.
They would all farm together, and then eventually, as my grandparents got older, and my uncle took on the farm, and he just kind of like sold off a little bit and just like didn't do as much of the work. So this other family just kept renting and renting our land. And that's kind of the relationship we had today. And Caroline and I are in a pod together. So she's like heard me talk about this. But basically, yeah, I kind of renegotiated the whole contract this year because I had an offer. Someone actually found me on LinkedIn. And there was a new irrigation project that went in, which means like the land that I have, it has access to water, which is huge here. And basically he offered me this like crazy amount of money to purchase the land. Then when I was kind of digging into it, I was like, I am not getting enough in rent. Like this is the value and this is kind of the rent that I'm getting. So I had a conversation with the farmer that was renting it, and he was like a little bit, he said it's unfortunate because a lot of these big companies are coming in and they're buying all the farmland, and like the values are this high because of this water project. But he's like, I can't afford to pay what it's worth.
Yeah.
But I understand if you want to go to these bigger companies. So we kind of went back and forth and found a number that we were both comfortable with. And landed on that. And it's been like great for us. And
they're also not like necessarily Canadian companies.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's kind of, like, depends how you, to take out a small farmer for some random Russian company that wants to farm is not,
not in our best interests.
Yeah.
And it could backfire later. So
exactly. Yeah. So, and it's like, we've had this relationship for years and years and years. We know the family so well. They treat the land well. So that's another thing with farming. Like you have to make sure they're doing the crop rotation properly, or else your land could just be trashed essentially. And, we know them, we trust them.
I guess one of the things about real estate that is beneficial in my perspective is when you hold it for a long time like that, like you've had it for, it sounds like generations, you
totally
have the flexibility to not necessarily take top dollar if you don't want to, right? Like you certainly could, and you could, rent that land out to big corporate America or Canada or whoever, right? But you're helping local farmers because you have the equity in that land that, somebody who buys this year or last year doesn't have that flexibility. They need to make that money to pay off, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you guys are doing that, and that you're not just in it for the money.
Like I know there's a lot of people in that area that have just sold off, and it's like so sad for the farmers. And even when I was like meeting with this guy, I was just like, he was very emotional about it, like he was like, this is his life.
For
and
sure.
Yeah, he's like, of course you got an offer. Of course they found, like, it's just like so frustrating for him. So we're happy to keep the relationships with them, and hopefully down the road we can have another conversation and negotiate again. But right now we're just both happy with the agreement that we have.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. So I know you spend a lot of time investing in each other and your family. What is a habit or routine or maybe just a family tradition that's kind of made the most impact to strengthen your family ties?
It's a big question.
So we actually we have a marriage coach, and he actually is based through the Enneagram. And it's like when we first learned about it, it was like we were listening to this audiobook in the car on a drive, and it's like a numbers from 1 to 9. And number 1 was first. It started playing and talking about number 1, whatever, and then we paused it, and I was like, okay, let's just shut this off. Like this is dumb. Like nobody thinks like this. This is like, no. And Taylor's like, I've never felt so seen in my life. Like this is, and I was
It's like, preach, brother. You got it. I was like, just like all about
he was
it.
like,
Like,
he's like, I love this guy. This book's awesome. I'm like, no one does this.
She's like, no one thinks about this. I'm like, everyone thinks like this. And then we're like, wow, I can't believe we're this far apart. Like, we don't understand each other's, I guess, like exact personalities. So, really helped us like with just initially just like small issues that were almost like
petty.
Yeah, petty issues with each other.
Yeah, but it just like helped us understand each other so much. So we actually like talked to this coach like quarterly, and just kind of like go through where we're at and like talk through maybe some problems that we're having or like misunderstandings. And it's just been like so helpful in communication and like business as well, just like understanding where the other person's coming from, because it's never bad intent. Like I think when you're married, like it's, you know, you want to be together. You're married for a reason, and it's like sometimes it seems like it's bad intent, but it's really just like the way the other person operates.
Yeah.
And so then even so after kind of like learning that amongst each other, then it's kind of nice to use it with our children. We can already kind of establish like what they are, and so certain just techniques to parent them, like how they react in, you know, so there's certain situations.
Yeah.
Wow.
One could be completely different from the other one, and you kind of just learn.
Actually use it in hiring too, like in the marketing company. So it's like I use like Kobe and the Enneagram to like hire specific positions.
Wow. So you use it like in place of like a DISC profile or a Myers-Briggs or something like that.
It's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. I mean, we've got a lot of friends that swear by Enneagram, and we've never done it. Actually, I've taken a few of the online tests, but every single time it's been a different response. Like I've gotten different.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, but we've never done like coaching or anything. But our last guests they were big into Enneagram too,
and spirit animals.
And spirit animals.
Ooh.
They went to
Dawna,
a shaman.
like yeah.
And like had their own journeys and found out what their spirit animals were. I was like, well, that's cool. I gotta cool. Google shamans. And shamans.
Caroline's my spirit animal.
I told them it's already a dolphin. It's fine.
Not a dolphin. We're gonna have to go back again until it is. So
yeah. And I've been told my Enneagram number, I think it was 2. I
You're
feel
2.
like a lot of people can see it and tell me it.
Yes.
I just don't know all of the things about it.
We know. Yeah.
See?
And it's also like interesting, like just like knowing people, you kind of like figure out what their number is, and then it's like you kind of know how to communicate with them too.
Huh.
So.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Dawna communicates with me very carefully. Hey family, real quick. If you would prefer to watch your content, head on over to Our Family Invests on YouTube. You can watch this podcast and more over there. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that little bell icon too to make sure you never miss an episode. And now, back to the show. Okay, for couples looking to start out investing together, because this was new for both of you together, what's the conversation that they should have before making the financial move?
That's a good question. I would just make sure you're on the same page. Like Taylor and I have always been on the same page with like our family values, but then it took like when we're investing and buying these new properties, like you have to kind of sit down and have the financial talk. Like we do our finances kind of interesting. Like we keep things separate and then we have like a pot for joint stuff. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people just kind of like throw it all together. So yeah, we usually like have a conversation and just make sure we're on the same page about everything.
Yeah. Like Dawna, she's way more risk averse.
No, that's you.
No, okay. That's me. I'm risk averse, and then Dawna is a risk taker. So usually she comes up with the idea, and I
fight it.
I fight it.
Yeah.
And then we kind of maybe then we'll like
in the middle.
We'll do some numbers, and then we'll kind of figure out how much work is this going to take, and well, is it worth it in the end? And then after I dwell on it and she kind of lets me dwell on it, then we figure out if it's a good decision and then go through with it. Because we don't go through with every idea we had or Donna's had, because if we did,
Can't.
Yeah.
it needs to be crazy.
Yeah.
But that's
But,
where
no.
that good balance of working together and being able to communicate and also balance each other out is
Totally.
probably
Yeah.
a
And like we
really
were
good
talking
thing.
about this last night, like we're opposites. We're polar opposites. Like I'm like all these ideas, like red balloon, like just want to do all this stuff. And Taylor like knows the work that goes into it. And he's like very hands-on and like very physical. So it's like we complement each other a lot. So like with our rentals, like I manage the tenants and then he like does the handiwork. And same with our renos. Like I usually manage the reno with the exception of this one because I was just had a baby. But yeah, he usually like is the hands-on guy, and then I'm usually like the planner, scheduler, and that's how it's worked for us.
Nice. Staying in your own lanes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
I like that.
And it works out. I guess it works out well, kind of, because I don't want to do the stuff that she does, and she doesn't really want to do the stuff that I do. So
Yeah. So tell me about your firefighting.
Yep.
I was just wondering how firefighting makes you a better father, husband, entrepreneur. Like, what have you learned from the department that you've been able to carry over into your home life?
you know what I've learned is that we keep a clean kitchen. We do not leave spoons in the sink.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
clean as we cook.
that's
honestly,
nice.
there's some traits like that I would like that help out a lot. Like you do the work now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no someone calls about a rental and this is broken. Like we're not waiting a week. It's like we go figure it out right away and we get it fixed. So nothing's like kind of off in the distance, like hanging over your head. Everything we take care of right away. It's all lots of the guys there too. I'm like we're a pretty young department right now. You kind of get your certain age turnovers, and right now we're like at a place where like tons of guys are my age and lots of us have young kids, and like we hang out in summertime when we're on days off, like we're hanging out with the kids at the park or taking them to the pool or whatever it is. So it's nice. It's kind of like it's a good group of friends. It's a good kind of family there as well.
Support community too, and
Yeah.
that they can relate to the type of lifestyle, because it is, I mean, as much as flexibility with the fire department, it is a different type of lifestyle. And I would imagine, like for us, I called it single married life because I would go to a lot of events by myself or with Nico.
Yeah.
But you also had the transition of night shifts, day shifts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I was gone for at least 24 hours at a time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a lot.
76, sometimes 72. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that gets really tricky. But I agree with you. If there's something that needs to be done, you do it now. And carrying that over to home life is really beneficial, I think, because, when I got in the fire department, I saw so many things where it's like, well, that's stupid. Why do they do that? Right.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of fall into that tradition. Like for us, we were taught you're fighting for the sponge, right? Like you want to be the guy that gets up first from dinner and grabs the sponge, and you're cleaning it for the rest of the guys. Okay. You are that guy. And I just kept thinking, like, this is stupid. Why don't we just get a dishwasher? And there's no dishwashers in the fire department. Or
maybe they're in Canada.
For here,
We have
Wednesdays.
dishwashers.
Yeah. Wednesdays here are yard days.
Yeah.
And so like, oh, yard day, this is stupid. Why are we doing yard day? We're getting all sweaty, cutting the grass and doing all this. Why don't we just pitch in and just hire somebody to cut the grass for us? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But like there's tradition in the fire department too, right?
Yeah.
And like you're out there and you're cutting the grass and you're weed whacking and you're trimming the trees and all that kind of stuff. And it may take a few hours or whatever. And then you get a brush fire call, and you're just wiped out.
Yeah.
But that's the tradition, right? Of
Right.
like, you do this because this is what we do.
Yeah.
And
There's
so
out there, like, it's kind of funny though, because I think with fire departments, I know guys that work all over Canada and then like some of the States, and it's like you go to one, you've been to them all, like we're all like kind of the same. We all have
All
some
Enneagram
weird,
one.
we all have some weird thing that like doesn't, like, people like in the normal world are just like, that happens at your work, and you're like, yeah, that's just how we do it. And it's
Normal.
like, that's insane. But
And you have lazy boys?
We got lazy boys.
Yeah.
Only one hall has lazy boys. The rest have sofas,
Yeah.
which is a big issue.
Okay, if your kids could inherit one financial lesson from you both, what would you want that to be?
So we're working on that right now. Like we talk about financial literacy a lot with our kids. The value of working and money and earning money. So right now they're really working on how they can earn money. Like we don't just like give them allowance. They're assigning a value to a job that they're doing as opposed to just like getting money and doing chores. So I think it's like the value of money and investing. Like we bought them houses like for some of our long-term rentals. So once they turn 18, a house will be paid off for them and they can choose if they want to sell it or if they want to like rent it out or if they want to live there. Like that's going to be their choice once they turn 18 and inherit it. So they know they have their house and they know houses are theirs and they know when Taylor goes to work on them. And like, I think like just the value of like working hard and investing. Yeah, I think just like what money actually is. Like growing up, like we just kind of thought you had to work a 9-to-5 job. Sure. And yeah, my parents invested and they were in real estate. Like my dad did some developing as well. So that was really cool to learn from him. But they still like, my mom has her pension, you know, and they like really believe in that. So I think just like you guys can do whatever you want, but this is like how you earn money and this is how you have a good life.
Yeah, I love that. What's one thing you love about each of your boys and either of you?
About each of our boys?
Yes.
Like everything, I'm obsessed with them. But I think Hayes is like our oldest guy is like such a leader and he's so smart. Like he's just like, he's a rule follower. Like he's Taylor exactly.
He's
but
a very good.
He's gonna like change the world. I think like he's just so intelligent and he really thinks about things.
Yeah, he's a thinker. He can figure out like physical things. He can look at it, and there's even times I'll even like ask for his like input on, you know, something with like putting in some trim that like isn't lining up. It's like, what do you think about this? And his just like perspective is awesome.
That's
and then
great.
Kai, the middle guy, he's like he's the glue. Yeah, he's like hugs and keeps everyone kind of like hanging out together
and laughing. Like he's so funny.
So funny.
And this guy is insane.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know yet, but
also going to change the world.
Yeah. We let the big boys choose his middle name. So his name's Vin, and his middle name is Golden Boy.
Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Golden Boy, yeah. So Kai's favorite color is golden. And Hayes is like, well, he's a boy. So they thought about it for months, and I thought it was going to be like Flash or the Hulk, and it ended up being Golden Boy.
That's great.
I like Golden Boy over Hulk.
Yeah, Golden Boy is great.
I know. It's perfect. I'm like, you guys are going to regret that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's perfect.
And you'll hear about it later, but I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think if Nico would have had the opportunity, he would have had like Poopy McPoop Pants or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Also a close second.
It's a good name. It's a good name.
So, all right. So you guys are thinkers, and I know that you've probably already thought about this, but what are 3 books that you really want your kids to read when they're older?
So we do the thing where we pay them to read. So our oldest is in grade 2, so they're kind of all just like starting.
Yeah.
But I think like eventually when they're a little bit older, like Rich Dad Poor Dad's just a classic, right? Like I think that just tells the story of how life is. I think that would be a really great one.
I'm so bad at books.
Taylor's an audiobook guy.
Yeah, I'm an audiobook guy. What
Taylor, I am the same, and I am a podcast episode person.
And I'm so bad with like then the name after. Can I grab my phone? I'll look at what I've read and then say.
What am I listening to currently?
Yeah, I know. I'm on the Kindle too, so I'm like, I never know what I'm reading. But Atomic Habits is great too. I feel like Taylor lives that life, and he doesn't even know. Like he probably hasn't read it. But yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Well, for like financial, like I did like Think and Grow Rich.
Love it.
Yeah, Napoleon, right?
Yep.
For like entrepreneurial, the Nike shoe dog. That's one of my favorite books. I thought that was great. And just to hear it, like, because he just seemed like such a regular guy, you know.
Yep.
I'm just kind of had a lot of challenges on the way. It was that was really good.
Incredible resilience.
Yeah, and then also just for me, I don't know. I like Goggins' book. David Goggins.
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like whenever I'm like, I don't know if I'm just like being a bitch, just kind of like, just be tough or just get through it. Like, who cares? It's not that big a deal. So
Yeah.
I go back to Goggins when I'm feeling like I could use a little push.
There you go.
Love
All right.
it.
I like
Coach
it.
Goggins, nice.
Yeah.
Dawna, you and I definitely spoke a lot more in depth, but not to make light of what happened with baby Vin is that you almost died in childbirth.
Yeah.
And that was really scary. Can you take us a little bit through that experience and how that probably changed or transformed the way you looked at life? And
Yeah,
maybe that was
absolutely.
part of the decision to extend that maternity leave too.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, when he was born, he was just a really big baby. So he's 11 pounds. And my placenta ended up getting stuck. So when we were in the delivery, like it's one of those things that just like they make the decision so fast and they just kind of like rolled me out of the room, and Taylor was like just in the room with the baby being like, what the heck's going on? But it was just like one of those, I was just losing so much blood. So I had to get emergency surgery to get my placenta out. And everything ended up being fine. But for a while there, Taylor was like, what's happening? Like he was just alone with the baby. And I think it was a couple of hours.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours.
And the doctor came in and was like, oh yeah, she's fine. She's just in recovery. And then she got a phone call and she was like, what? She's not? And then she's like, oh, she's not. And then she just left the room and she's like, I'll be right back. And then she never went back. So Taylor was like, oh my God, like she's dead. Like I'm a single father of 3. Like it was like,
oh my goodness,
it was so intense.
She lost a lot of blood.
I think 3 out of the 4 liters or something of blood that you had. So I was like, yeah, it was.
So it was scary. Like she couldn't sit up even for like a week and then she had to get blood transfusions and then iron and stuff just to slowly build it back. But it's scary because when your placenta's stuck, you're kind of just like an open wound bleeding out, right? So it's just constant.
It's how like in the olden days, people would die in childbirth. So I'm lucky that I was in the hospital because they could just think so fast. And
Sure.
There was also like a surgeon that was heading home that just kind of so happened to be sticking around. So
oh my God,
did the surgery.
Yeah,
so it was a pretty intense situation.
So I think it like really brought us closer. I remember just like sitting in the room after with the baby and like we both just like burst out in tears, and Taylor's like, we can't lose you. Like,
yeah,
he was out with Kai and like just holding Kai's hand, and like I wasn't there, and he was just like, it just kind of like sunk in what almost happened, So I think we both like really took that as a big lesson, like we want to be together with our family as much as we can, and whatever that takes. So we're lucky to have real estate to, be able to, like, when we're on mat leave in Canada, we get EI, which is like nothing, so we're just like so lucky to have other means of
income
investments to like be able to live. And I love the marketing company, so I want to be there as well. But just this time with the family and the boys, I think that experience just like really, it really just showed how important family is and how much we need each other. Like, I can't imagine doing this journey on my own. Or
funny, maybe a little bit of a funny side note in there though. Dawna was like she's very natural, and so she wanted like the whole birth was natural, like no epidural or anything like that. And so then when I was with Ben and they're like, can we give him formula? Should we give him formula? And then I'm like, what? I was not gonna be happy about this. So I'm just like thinking about like, is he gonna be so mad that his first food ever is like this formula? And so anyway, they give him like this thimble. Yeah. Like literally a drop. I'm like, oh, that was it. Like, okay, that's fine.
It's for like his blood sugar or something. And then,
but then we go see Dawna and she's like fully on fentanyl. And I'm like, geez.
It's like natural labor. And then like 15 minutes later, I'm like on all the drugs.
She's
like,
on every drug. We're like, pretty natural birth. We'll call it a pretty natural.
Natural to a point.
I can't imagine that experience for you, Taylor. Like, I imagine if you lost that much blood, you probably passed out, right?
I was in shock. Like, I don't even know. Well, I don't remember.
She was the color of the bed, and they just pulled her out. And like the crazy thing too was like with the baby, like everyone went. So it was like me and the baby, and then like one nurse came and was like, like normally when baby's born, they're kind of all with the baby, and like a couple people are with mom, but it was like everyone's with Dawna, and it's like I was like, is someone not gonna help me? Like he's on the weigh scale, like me and him. It's like you kind of start to realize that something serious is going on. So
that must have been the longest couple hours of your life.
It was insane. Yeah.
And then everyone's like wondering, like our parents, and they're like, what's going on? Like, is the baby here? Like, what's happening? And Taylor's just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to tell them.
Yeah. And I didn't want to like
alarm
freak
them,
everyone out, because, that you don't need to add that stress to everyone else if it's kind of all good. But
But then funny story, when we weren't supposed to leave because I couldn't sit up, like they said, like, you can't leave until you can walk to the bathroom, which was like 5 steps away. And I couldn't even sit up. Like I just would pass out every time I sat up. But Taylor's like, we're getting out of here. Like we cannot be in here for one more second. Like we like fireman me out into our house. And then we like thought we were just going to be like fine and normal. And the next morning, I'm laying in the bed and I can't walk. So Taylor has to like carry me everywhere. Yeah. And he comes in with the baby. The baby's crying. And then our middle guy, one of the bigger kids, was crying because they didn't want to go to school. And then I was like crying because I have to go to the bathroom. Like, please, like, can you carry me to the bathroom? And he's just like holding the baby, like, I don't know what to do. Like, who do I help right now? And I had messaged my mom earlier being like, hey, do you want to come in the afternoon and just like come help out? And then I was like immediately, so like, what time are you going to be here? It was like 8 a.m. And then we were fortunate enough. She came and like stayed for a couple weeks actually, because we realized very quickly how many kids 3 kids is. Yeah.
That's a lot.
When you can walk, when you can function.
Yeah. And like in retrospect, I think like, everything happens for a reason. It was like so nice to actually have that time with the baby. Like I was like bedridden for probably like 6 weeks. Like it was I just had to make blood. I was eating like meatballs for breakfast, like just red meat, like trying to like build blood, drink a lot of water. Because I was also like, feeding him and making milk, and there's just like a lot going on.
Depletion. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then
it was insane. And then we also were going through a house rental.
Yeah.
So we thought, like in my schedule, because I'm like, it'll be done before the baby comes. Because I also, we went on a 3-week trip to Hawaii to see you guys. So Taylor, like, we weren't done the rental. So then we had a little bit left when the baby was born. And so I remember like in Canada, I'm not sure if it happens there, but the health nurse comes and like checks on you to like make sure you're in an environment that's okay to like raise a baby. And she came and she was like, there was guys spraying on the ceiling. It was like the day, it was like Dexter walls everywhere and guys like spraying the ceiling. And she was like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, we're fine. And then in my head, I'm like, don't take my baby. Like we're going to
Right.
Oh my gosh, what?
It's funny now, but in the moment, it was like a little bit intense.
That's insane.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay. Well, I want to lighten it up a little bit, okay? Because that's heavy. And I hope no one ever has to go through that experience, because that's crazy. So, you guys are from Saskatchewan.
Remember, preclude that he is an American.
Yeah.
So
I am.
Canadianism.
I'm impressed you're saying Saskatchewan properly.
Am I?
Yeah. He's working on it.
Yeah. So I know I can't spell Saskatchewan, but
no.
I've heard
we wouldn't ask that of you,
and I know where it is because I Googled it yesterday. And I also Googled anything I could find about Saskatchewan. So now I want to transition to a part of the podcast that we like to call How Well Do You Know Saskatchewan?
Oh, my favorite part.
Yeah. Is this in every podcast?
Every podcast gets this one. So I figured you guys would know this pretty well. So let's start off with an easy one.
Okay.
What is a Saskatchewan?
What is one?
Yeah. What is a Saskatchewan?
Is it like a hairy guy? That's a Sasquatch.
Oh, God.
That's what I would have thought.
That's what I thought too. It actually has nothing to do with the Sasquatch, though the word Sasquatch was coined by a Canadian.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that.
All I can say is I'm pretty sure Saskatchewan is like an indigenous term, but I don't know what it means.
Wow, you're brilliant. It is. It is a name. The name of the province comes from the Cree name for the Saskatchewan River, which is the Kisiskatchewanasipi.
Yeah, there we go. I can't believe we
Nailed
didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah.
Nailed it, right? So not related to the word Sasquatch at all.
He's going to be so proud of himself.
I
so
knew
you know.
this. Of course, I thought
You
this
knew
was
it.
taught in school.
You know your
but-
stuff, Mike.
Yes, thank you. All right, second question. Okay, there's 5 of these questions, so right now you can still get an 80%. All right.
Okay.
Great.
I'm an 80%
So
guy.
number 2, how far does the Great Wall of Saskatchewan stretch?
I didn't even know that was
In
it.
kilometers?
Yes, or miles or whatever.
The Great Wall, like you mean like the border?
No, the Great Wall of Saskatchewan. You better Google this stuff.
I
This is
didn't even
one
know.
of the
I've
most
never heard of
interesting
this.
things about Saskatchewan, according
Taylor,
to ChatGPT.
you know what he's talking about? Can you give a guess? I would say,
I thought that was a trick question.
I think it's 267 kilometers.
Yeah,
The Great
it's
Wall.
it's 1.6 kilometers, about a half.
Yeah,
mile.
that's a great wall.
Yeah, and it's in a town called Smiley, and it was built by a farmer named Albert Johnson in the 1960s. So,
That's
All right.
impressive.
All right, you can still get a 60% here. Okay, so this one I found kind of interesting. So Saskatchewan has the sunniest city in all of Canada, with averaging over 2,500 hours of sunshine per year. That's more than Miami. Can you guess which city it is?
Is Medicine Hat in Saskatchewan?
It's not. It's not good.
Donna, I
With current.
Swift Current's the windiest city. I know
Oh.
that. The sunniest city. Is
It
it
starts
like
with an
what's
E.
that called?
What does it start with?
Oh, we're giving me a hint. It starts with an E.
Esteban.
Estevan.
Good
That's
job.
right. You know, what's funny is it's right across the border from North Dakota.
Yeah.
And North Dakota, I don't think it has any of the sunniest days in America at all.
Huh.
Yeah.
Come to Estevan.
Some
And
weird geography changes, maybe.
Yeah. So what's going on there?
I don't know.
All right. So next one. So you're at 20%. That's good.
it's great.
All right, this one you're going to get. I'm pretty sure you're going to get this. So during Prohibition, this city became a smuggler's paradise with underground tunnels used to move illegal alcohol
you
into
said
the
it.
U.S. Rumor has it Al Capone even had a hand in this. Do you know what city that is?
Moose Jaw. We've toured the tunnels.
Oh,
Moose Jaw?
really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Is it
so-
Moose Jaw?
Is it Moose
It
Jaw?
is. It is Moose Jaw. Yeah, and apparently the tunnels were built by like the Chinese immigrants building the railroad or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right, last one. 40%, you guys. That's good. Saskatchewan is home to a legendary lake monster said to lurk in the waters of Turtle Lake. Do you know what the creature is called?
Ogo Pogo?
No.
Sasquatch. Come on.
His name is Champ. His name is Champ of Turtle Lake. Yeah.
Oh,
So you guys should get out and visit more of Saskatchewan. It sounds
very vast province.
There's like over 100,000 lakes in Saskatchewan.
Oh.
I did learn that as well. So ChatGPT is amazing, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yes,
And I also learned that is the land of the living sky. Is that right?
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And I thought it was because, you know, the Aurora Borealis and you got huge, like,
Yeah.
open skies, probably see amazing millions and millions and millions of stars and everything else. But apparently it's also a real common place to see UFOs. Have you guys ever seen a UFO?
Oh, is that why they say that it's called
No,
that?
no, that's not
Oh.
why. But it was one of the things that kind of popped up was like, there's been a lot of UFO sightings in Saskatchewan. Like,
No way.
really normal.
There's also a lot of like hillbillies in Saskatchewan, so I don't know if there's a correlation there.
Probably.
Could be. All right.
I've never seen one, but if we go to like where her parents live, which is only 40-minute drive out of town, you can see all the stars and everything like
That's
perfectly.
amazing. That's amazing. Well, guys, thank you for playing How Well Do You Know Saskatchewan? You guys
I'm
did better than any of our other guests.
Yeah, let us know what the other guests scored.
And I mean, we've only scratched the surface on how dynamic your family is and how much we love and appreciate you. But what's next for you both, personally, professionally? What's upcoming?
So we were kind of just talking about that. We want to get our own house completely finished, and then we're just throwing around ideas right now. And
Yeah, so we've done like a few flips in the past. We're talking about like, are we going to do more long term? Are we going to invest out of province? We want to sit down. We have a weekend booked coming up that's going to go through like our long term real estate goals. But right now I'm working on another digital project. As I told you guys, for Minimum, and Taylor's researching another product for the actual store.
Love
so until the house is done, we're like, all real estate projects are on hold, but it should be just a couple months.
Yes, awesome.
I don't recommend doing 2 additions on your house when you're having a baby.
Yeah, that's totally normal. If our audience wants to connect with you, find your product, where should they go?
Instagram. So it's at Minimum. It's MINIMUM. But there's dots in there.
No,
MUM, I think.
It's .MUM.
We'll put a link to it.
Yeah, link it in there.
Yeah.
The name was hard to get, so we had to put a few dots in. So you guys can link it.
I mean, that's amazing that it's kind of, has dots in it and everything else, and you still manage to get 30,000 followers in a year. You guys must be doing something right with marketing. Incredible. Incredible. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are amazing. Have so much fun in Barcelona and Portugal and on your Euro trip. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much,
Great
guys.
to see you guys again.
Thanks for being part of the family today. If you want to see more of our journey through our personal life, businesses, and adventures, give us a follow on Instagram at Our Family Invests.
If you like this podcast, share this episode with a friend. And if you really want to support us, we would be so grateful if you would leave us a review on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Your review helps us to reach a bigger audience and bring on more amazing guests. Thank you so much. We really, truly appreciate you.